The first two-night WWE Summerslam event has just concluded, and I thought now will be a good time to discuss my 5 main takeaways from this ambitious event. Number 1 does contain a little bit of a spoiler, so if you haven't seen it, I do recommend going to watch it anyway. It does happen on night 1, but I'll save that to the end, so we can still discuss the other things beforehand. Number 5 is I think that 2 nights of SummerSlam has actually worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. 2-night pay-per-views are a bit ambitious, or PLEs as they're technically called now. And sometimes they can seem to drag on a little bit, but I think with this one, every time there was a match, it had a purpose, and each competitor was able to actually showcase everything that they could do, tell the story, and I just think it gave enough time for every match to feel valued, rather than just be like, oh hey, here's like a 10-minute title match, have fun, goodbye, next match. I saw a lot of talk about heel turns in the lead up to SummerSlam as well, and that leads me on to number 4. Didn't get a heel turn people were expecting, but I think there's one in the works. I think we're going to see a Rhea Ripley heel turn sooner rather than later. She's come close on numerous occasions to winning big championships on like big pay-per-views and PLEs and big events, but always seems to come up just a little bit too short, and there were a lot of times in that match where she was getting very frustrated, especially right at the end. You could see the look of disappointment and potentially anger on her face, and we know Rhea has a bit of a mean streak behind her, so I'm thinking maybe in the next couple of months, maybe even weeks, if she is that angry about it, we could see Rhea return to the dark side. And number 3 is something that I've been saying, and a lot of people have been saying, Def Rebel should stop making entrance themes for WWE. They're far too generic, and Becky Lynch's new theme blew the roof, not that there was one, but would have blown the roof off the building should there have been one, because it just has so much more personality behind it and actually seemed to be entertaining to listen to. It wasn't overly generic, and ignoring the entrance video behind, you knew exactly who it was going to be, and it just hyped up the crowd that little bit more, rather than what Def Rebel do with a lot of people's entrances and just make them overly video gamey, generic-y, and just until the actual video wall starts behind them, a lot of people, you don't really know who the entrance music belongs to. And I think if WWE do move away from the Def Rebel usage, the pops will be so much louder. Something to watch out for, maybe. Number 2, and this may be a controversial opinion, that 12-man TLC tag team match was the highlight of the entire weekend. And I think WWE now need to start putting a lot more respect on the tag team division that has been suffering under the Triple H regime. It's been ignored in so many PLEs. The tag team division have been complaining. The women's tag team division is basically non-existent at this point, and there's been a lot of cry out to just get these guys used more often. And if you go back and you watch that 12-man tag, which is normally chaotic at the best of times, it barely lasted, I think, around 20-30 minutes, maybe even at most. That might even be exaggerating it a little bit, but the amount of athleticism, entertainment, spots, it was so well crafted, and everyone had a part in the match. Even managers and extras at ringside got involved, and none of it felt forced. I was engaged the entire time, and it was chaos, but controlled chaos, and just fantastic. And really, I genuinely do believe the highlight of the entire weekend. And finally, the one I left till last, it wasn't the number 1 talking point on my list, but I thought if I'm going to have a spoiler, it can't be partway through. We really do want to keep it till the end. Seth freaking Rollins has done it again, hasn't he? We all thought that he was very severely injured against LA Knight in their match. Maybe he was. Maybe the injury wasn't as bad as we thought. Or maybe, again, we've all been worked. As Wade Barrett put it, he had the heist of the century at WrestleMania, and now he's had the ruse of the century at SummerSlam. Admittedly several years apart, but it just proves that this man is unstoppable. He told CM Punk that you will never be champion as long as I'm around. Punk wins the belt. Seth's injured. Oh no, what are we gonna... Oh, here comes Seth. And I think in the end, Punk actually ended up holding the belt for less time than Drew McIntyre did when he had Money in the Bank cashed in against him with Damian Priest at WrestleMania. And I just remember seeing Seth come out on those crutches, being like, oh, yeah, we're just here to have a reminder that he's here. And he was waiting. Several months' time, Punk's still probably going to be champion. Yeah, we'll get Seth versus, oh, he's turning around. It's fine, he's leaving, he's standing. And when he threw those crutches down, the crowd lost their collective minds in time with the Burn It Down from his music, I might add, which is just so perfectly written. And he charges down to the ring, annihilates Punk with the briefcase, curb stomp, 1, 2, 3, less than 6 minutes of a title reign for CM Punk after all that work. And actually, on that note, I think Jessica Carr should be the referee that always cashes in Money in the Bank contracts now, because she didn't mess around. She didn't ask about 1,000,000 times if you want to actually cash it in. Seth ran down, he said, I'm doing it. He attacked Punk, he handed over the briefcase, and he did it. Rather than the, are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah, but like, do you want it? Do you really want it? Are you going to cash in? And then the person's up, and then the cash in never happens. But yeah, so that's kind of 1A, kind of, it's kind of additional point there. So those are my 5 key rambling points from SummerSlam this weekend.